Hey, One Piece players, back again. I am glad to be able to announce this time around that my second Treasure Cup went way better than my first one. I went top 8. I actually got 5th place going to this Treasure Cup, and that's a lot better than get going 1 and 4. This time around, I went 3 and 1, and my only loss, I'll actually talk about it, I could have easily won. So, we did take Lucci. We were running our own custom made version of Lucci here, and we were rocking some custom Dawn as well. So, putting this off to the side, big thank you to Dark Vassal Gaming. They were a store that were kind enough to host us, and I actually brought some friends with me, some family, and we all had a lot of fun. Super welcoming community there. So go them, hype in the chat. So if you don't know how Lucci works, on attack you can take the top 2 cards of your deck and put them in your trash, and you can lower your opponent's character, one of them, by 1 cost. Now this is twofold. One is it helps you kill things, and the second thing, of course, is that you are able to use that cost reduction as a way to kill with other cards. So I have a couple of things here in my KO package. We have 4 copies of Lucci, and I am glad that I picked up the alt arts before I even played the deck. I just loved the art. I am a big fan of the IP of the show, and I decided, you know what, I want that card, and I picked up a playset, and I ended up playing the deck. I was initially going to play Reiju, which I didn't do a tournament recap. I ended up going 3 and 2 with that deck, and then I went 3 and 1 with it again. I did very well with that deck, but I just decided not to play that. I wanted to get into the mind of the enemy, play Rob Lucci on the sim a couple games, and I realized, oh crap, I went 10 games without losing, including the game I was learning how to play the deck. And my current record after the tournament is 20 and 3 with the deck. And so that is this list we are working with, we're cooking with, and we of course have to play the playset of Rob Lucci. You really want to see it most games, turn 2, turn 3. If you are versing any blue deck pretty much at this point other than Nami, even Nami, you want the 6k attacker so that's easier to attack in. This is very crucial for getting in those early KOs, especially if they go wide. Our next KO guy is Jack here as a 3 of. He's impossible to get, almost impossible to get rid of as a black deck. If your opponent is playing black and you're playing black, I went in a mirror match and I straight up looked at my opponent and I said, "Time to see who drops Jack first." Okay. Next, he does also allow you to filter, get cards in your graveyard, in your trash, and he lets you draw more. He lets you KO every single turn. We do have Brook here as a 2 of. This is our way of dealing with Sabo. We can swing in and then we can trash the Sabo, and swing in using the leader's ability. He's very good to just pop a lot of 5 drops is the main thing, but he's very good to get rid of things that are KO immune. I never once used his put the cards from the trash on bottom of the deck. I don't think even that's very good versus Nami. They'll just put their Kayas in their on the bottom of their deck or their peel-offs. It's not going to affect them really. They'll just do whatever is best for them, which they'll have enough options at that point. We have a single copy of Stussy. I debated playing around with a couple cards. Some people are playing Kaidos. I have Stussy as my out to Jack, as well as my out to a lot of other cards that are big boss monsters in the format. This came in handy in a matchup, which I'll explain after the deck list. Then we are being a rat. We're playing 2 copies of Finger Pistol. I almost want to play more copies. It's just such a tight list. This is trash 2 cards from your deck, not from your hand, not from your field, just from your deck. and most of the time you're not milling out. Most of the time you're not losing, and off of that. And so this is just trash 2 cards, KO anything that costs 5 or less. And this is amazing. I triggered it off of life. I used it in main. It never feels bad. It is also such a high threshold for just 4 Dawn that it's our way of getting rid of boss monsters on top of our Ice Ages. Now, these are, of course, our KO potential cards. Now, how about those cards that actually reduce our opponent's cost? We are playing 2 copies of Helmeppo. He is a -3 that you can play right before your Gecko Moria play or with your Gecko Moria play. And Helmeppo is just a phenomenal card for -3 to anything. Imagine, your opponent plays Eustace Kid, the 8-drop, and you're like, okay, what am I going to do? And by that time, maybe you're not using any of these, or they're not in your hand. You drop a Helmeppo, and then you can finger pistol, and it's gone. And there are some other things you can do with Helmeppo, which are crazier combos when you get over to Gecko Moria. And I'm not going to do a whole combo guide here, but I'm just saying, like, this right here, it's super easy to out most things. We were playing 4 copies of Tempest Kick. I debated putting it to 3 copies because I was thinking, you know what? I'm never playing this in the early game. It is always supposed to be a late game. It's a way to fill the gap, make sure that you're able to kill things that are normally out of your range. And I decided to keep it in as a 4 because of its trigger. I was expecting to see some Zoro. There were Zoro players. And Tempest Kick being able to KO one of your opponent's characters that costs 3 or less, phenomenal, especially if you're attacking them and they are using their counter. Shut Up Can Come With Us, or anything else that is able to play during your opponent's turn. For example, if you attack and they get their Chopper, sure, Chopper only triggers during your turn, but if you pass and then, like, after you attacked, they countered with that Shall Come With Us, what are you gonna do when they come in and attack you with a Chopper? So this is a very nice way of just being able to kill our opponent's stuff, even with a trigger. We have Ice Age using that same trigger of killing a 3 or less, and it is also a full 4 of. This I got versus a red purple Luffy player, and I got all 4 of them. And at that point, they were rightfully so. They were in the mentality of, oh my god, my opponent really just got 4 Ice Ages. They would play something, I kill it. Play something, I kill it. Play something, I kill it. In every single round, I had exactly what I needed to hit the exact numbers. It was perfect math. My opponent's words, and it's just such a big way of killing boss monsters. We have Kuzana as another way to kill boss monsters. I was going to play something else here. Honestly, I really like the Kuzan. I like the card draw. I like the ability to... I believe I was playing ACOS Savos. I decided to drop it drastically and be able to kill more consistently boss monsters. That's where this deck starts to struggle. And so I'm able to do -4s, -3 combo plays. I'm also able to go -4s here. Well, -5, -4s. And you're able to reach these thresholds for your KOs a lot more easily. That's it for our cost reductions. Then we have our reanimation. So this is the full combo of Gecko Moria as a 4 of. That way we can bring back any 4 drops, any 2 drops or less. Then you also play 4 copies of Rebecca. Now the idea is that you go Gecko Moria and you grab, let's say, Helmeppo, Rested, and Rebecca. Rebecca will get a Spondine back from your graveyard, and you play Spandine can get a Lucci and play Lucci And now you're able to, you have a minus cost here, you have a minus cost from your leader when you first attacked, and you're able to just full combo. This is your board on top of the Gecko Moria. So you just got 5 characters for 1 Gecko Moria. Now, they probably will try to swing in and kill some stuff, but, I mean, they have to swing in and kill some stuff, right? So, there's just value there. Rebecca, I definitely used sometimes. She caps out at being able to bring... Whatever you bring back from your graveyard is not what you have to play. So, I will use Rebecca while I have a Spandine in hand or something. I will grab a Jack, bring it to hand, and play the Spandine. There are some people playing EBO1 Brook, also a great thing to play off of Rebecca. I chose not to play EBO1 Brook because I wanted Kuzans. I also wanted to have a more consistent... Some people are going down Rebecca's, going down on Lucci's. I don't know why. I wanted to, and some people are going down on Spondums. I wanted to have a more fleshed out list. Now that we have our main stuff here, now how do we get to it? We have 4 copies of Spandine. That's a way of drawing cards as well as filling our trash. Same with Sabo. He is card draw that also fills our trash. He is also just our way of playing versus our opponents who might be trying to KO, particularly purple and black. Now, after that, we have our ways of protecting ourselves. We have our actual package. Our ways of winning were primarily through Lucci attacking, Jack, Brook attacking, and Moria. Other than that, we have our counter package. We have new from OP08, Who's Who, another amazing trigger of KO one of your opponents costs 3 or less. So we were playing a full 12 cards that could kill a 3 cost, and if you include Finger Pistol, which could kill a 5 cost on trigger, that is 14 cards that if our opponent attacks into it as a Zoro on the Zoo package, they're done for. On top of Who's Who, we are playing 4 copies of Khalifa. Khalifa is another 2K. These are our counter package. Khalifa is another 2K that helps with card advantage if we need to. Being able to draw cards, discard cards. It's really not advantage, it's filtering. It's somewhat advantage if you have access to a Moria or a Rebecca, or a Spandine, actually. Last card in the deck, a single copy of 6 King Pistol. The only time I ever used this was using the trigger, and honestly, it was in a matchup I was winning anyway. I didn't need to use the trigger. And that is the package. That is the deck. If I were to change anything about this, I would probably take out the 6 King Pistol. I think that would be it. I might replace the 6 King Pistol with another Finger Pistol. Now, that's not counter, I know that, but honestly, I felt pretty good about my counters. If you want to go more heavy on the Navy package, you'd gain access to being able to search for Kuzan for Ice Age. I didn't really... one big thing that's missing from this list is the 8-drop Isho. That's his name. The 8-drop Isho I really didn't need. I did not miss it. I did some testing. Some of my wins that I said earlier, the 20-3, some of them were playing Isho in the list. Honestly, I did not miss him. This list was really solid. I took him out and I added in Jax. I added in a Stussy as my top end. I initially had 2... my initial list had 2 Isho and 2 Sabo. I took them out for this top end right here. Amazing deck. I had a really good time playing it. My matchups looked like round 1 I went versus Boa Hancock, and the opponent, I don't know why, but they had a tendency to putting me when I had fewer than 5 cards in hand. They actually did it twice. One time I had 3 cards in hand, another time I had 2 cards in hand. I ended up just, with that card advantage, I was using those cards. I was able to remove, and there was never they delayed me from attacking, but there was never a point in which I felt like I was losing that game. So that one I ended up winning pretty decisively. I did not see Jack. I primarily won through Lucci, and Kuzan actually helped lower a Boa 6-drop down to 2 so I could kill it with a Lucci. After that, I went on to fight Red Purple Luffy. Red Purple Luffy was that matchup where I got 4 Ice Ages. There were 2 in my opening hand, and I was about to win the next turn, and I decide, hey, I'm going to play Gecko Moria, and I'm going to get a Kuzan, and I'm going to get a Spondum. And Spondum, I whiff. Kuzan, I clearly drew a card. And I had a 2K, a 2K, and a 1K in my hand. And that 1K was another Spondum. I play it, and I whiff. I pass turn, and what I should have done there instead of Kuzan, I should have played a Rebecca. I did not draw the Spondum, I'm incorrectly remembering. I had that already in hand. But I had a Rebecca here, and it was in my trash. If I had played Rebecca, my opponent admitted I would have won. And what they ended up doing was they removed what mattered, and they attacked. And that Spondum that I had played, the one that I played from hand, was the 1K that I would have lost by. So there are 2 parts here. One, if I had played a Rebecca instead, I would have won that game. If I had not played the Spondum and had held it in hand, they beat me by 1K, and I lost. But the entire game, they were just honestly, for what they put up with, they kind of deserved to win that game because they dealt with so much removal. Going into my third match was the Lucci mirror match. That's when I looked at them and I said, time to see who pulls Jack first. And Jack was in my opening hand. I kept it. My opponent mulliganed, and they had an early Brook, the 3-drop EBO1, and I was like, okay, that's cool. And I am easily able to kill it. I'm going first, and on 7 Dawn, I played Jack, and from there, the game just kind of declines for them, and I am able to kill whatever they send out. They send out their own boss monsters, I Stussy it, I Jack it, I Ice Age it. I had answers to everything they played. They played Moria, I was able to kill it. I ended up slowly grinding them out of the game, and I was able to get there in the end. After that, I go to my last match. My last match was versus a VV. And that VV was a lot of fun to play versus. And honestly, they were a super chill person. We played. I have never played against VV, but it was a really cool deck to see. I was able to kill practically everything that they had, but it was still a super sick deck. It was playing the Warlord package and just gave them rush. And I tried to take away the draw from them so they couldn't activate VV on turn 1. Didn't get there in terms of winning the die roll, but I got there in terms of winning. And this is the deck. And since I got overall 5th place in the Treasure Cup, I got this sweet playmat. So let me know what you think of my deck. If you are as relieved as I am that this event did not go as poorly as my first Treasure Cup, let me know down below. I had a lot of fun, and I definitely will be going back to Dark Vassal for more events. Anyway, if you liked this, let me know down below. Comment, subscribe, like the video, all that other stuff that you hear in every single YouTube video. Please let me know that you enjoy my content if you do, and I will see you next time.